Welcome to another episode of Comedy Wham Presents with me, your host Valerie, and sometime co-host Miss Purrington. ComedyWham.com is your place to go for features about all Austin comedy. You can keep up with us on Twitter and Instagram at Comedy Wham or on our Comedy Wham Facebook page. In addition to podcasts, Comedy Wham brings you articles, album reviews, our new column Rochelle Takes on Comedy, and our monthly Comedy Wham showcase at Hops and Time in Lakeway on first Tuesdays. Have you checked out our newly renovated events page for live shows in Austin, Houston, and DFW? If you're a comic in those cities and want your show featured on the calendar, go to the events page and click Submit a Show to complete the short survey. If you like the new survey, send us a quick review and we'll share your review and promo your show on Instagram. Looking for ways to support all these resources we provide? You can donate to Comedy Wham on PayPal, Venmo, or even Patreon. Search for Comedy Wham on Patreon and check out our subscriber perks. Now let's get back to our podcast. Launched in 2016, the Podcast Project brings you funny people and their stories. As a fan, I like to delve into a comic's background and motivations, and we usually take a detour along the way. Consider the interview a way for you to get to know the folks that make the Austin comedy scene one of the best in the country. And if you like this podcast, please rate and review us. Today, we are talking to a darling of the FPIA from 2019, his first and only FPIA, but he was a quick darling at that contest. And I remember my personal introduction to him was when he was driving during our online comedy show, the Isolation Comedy Show, and me and my tech producer, Richard, were freaking the fuck out because we were like, is he really driving while filming? It was crazy. But among his other more prominent credits include he's the co-host of Kickbutt's Open Mic on Wednesdays. He is the new host of Ground Floor at Hotel Vegas Fridays, but not every Friday.
Second Friday of the month.
Second Friday of the month. He's also the co-host of Face Off with Carlos Morrison. And breaking news, he just got announced for the 2022 JFL Moon Tower in April. And now you've already heard him. Comedy Wham presents our guest, Sawyer Stull.
That makes it sound like I know what I'm doing. That's impressive. My goodness.
Well, I have to tell you, and I hope that you don't mind me breaking the fourth wall, you walked in with confidence with your two beverages.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think anybody has ever done that before.
No one's bold enough to bring beer?
Yeah,
That's rude.
No. Yeah. I provide a measly little glass, bottle of water.
Lone Star Light's pretty much water. That's what they tell me.
I have been waiting, I guess, almost 3 years to talk to you. And the reason that I've been waiting is I remember, and I think I got to watch your FPIA set in 2019, and I just rewatched it, and I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. And I'm sorry if this is, all very adulatory, but I remember thinking, oh my God, this guy's like just brand spanking new and he's so good, but I like to wait until somebody's like been in the scene for 3 years is kind of like the magic mark.
Make sure it's not a fluke.
Yeah. And I know it hasn't been a fluke.
Yeah, it still
so
could
I'm
be.
Very good. So I'm like, God, he's got staying power. That's awesome. That wasn't just a random perfection back then. So I just wanted to start off with that, letting you know that I've been very patiently waiting.
Oh.
But let me start with my official icebreaker question.
Alrighty.
One word to describe your past.
Man. I'll just go with that, yeah. Pretty much, I guess. It's a tough one. I don't know. Easy.
Okay. We'll probably explore some of that. How did you get to that FPIA in 2019?
I was doing comedy for about 6 or so months in San Marcos. And then in January 2019, I moved here. And I remembered people talking about a competition in Austin. And like when I started, people would talk about like going up to Austin to go to Kickbutt and things like that. And I was just like, that's so far. And then I moved here, and the competition was like, I guess, right around the corner. They do it in March. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
It used to be. And so I got here, and everybody was getting ready for that. So it just seemed like everybody was just freaking out, trying to get 6 minutes of material together. And I was just like, I can't believe I was like, I've never done more than 6 minutes. And so, yeah, I signed up for it. I think that was the first time going to Cap. I may have like seen a show beforehand there once, but yeah, just threw my name in the hat. It was $15 I was willing to lose, so that was pretty much and give it a go. And yeah, I guess that night I got pretty lucky. Think, well, you know, preparation meets opportunity there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very fun. It was really fun. I remember that day at work, I was trying to go through my material in my car because that works to find out if it's a perfect 6 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very fun. I was hoping to get to do it again. I mean, I'm sure Cap City's looking to open again. And so I think the way to do it is like those people that get second place all the time because you can keep entering and getting money. That really seems to be the way to do it. I don't ever want to win. Yeah. Who would want to win that thing?
That's true. That's a good point. They might get onto you and realize, he's scamming.
Just kind of show up 90% at the very end and just hope for the best.
Well, having seen FPIA for years now, some of the people that have won second, runner-up, whatever, I mean, they're on to bigger and better things, never having won the crown. And
Matt Bearden used to tell me is that it was a curse to get first almost. He was like, I think... He was telling me one year, like, a guy died of, like, a brain aneurysm that got, like, first place. And the guy that got second place got, like, some deal at Comedy Central. And I was just like, holy moly. So I text Andrew Murphy every day to make sure everything's fine. He's been wearing that crown for a while.
Yes. He's probably sick of it at this point. Okay, so having only been doing comedy 6 months before then, was comedy part of your, like, experience growing up?
Yeah, my parents, my dad primarily would... Like, I think he raised me on, like, James Bond and Austin Powers for the most part. And then I remember when I was in, like, 4th or 5th grade, we were visiting some family friends in Montana, and they showed us the, like, Blue Collar Comedy Tour DVD. And I, like, loved Ron White. And I remember growing up in Houston, I think I saw, like, Larry the Cable Guy at the rodeo. And that was, like, really my only experience with it. But... I don't know, growing up an ugly kid, you kind of have to have a good personality, so find a way to make people laugh. I don't know, get by in school and stuff like that. So and eventually I just kind of graduated college, and I was like, I always said I'd do this thing, so let's give it a go. So, you know, you do an open mic, and then you don't go back for like 3 months. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, we'll try it again, and eventually it sticks.
Yeah. What... Was it really just that random of, I've always thought I'd try it, that got you to that first open mic? You didn't get like some nudges of...
No one really ever told me. Well, also, I got a degree in advertising, so there's a lot of like copywriting. So it turns out that like anyone can write, so it's hard to get a job doing that. Yeah. And so I was just like... Music didn't work out. Failed rock star, and then, you know, you go on to comedy next, and then when this doesn't pan out, I'll be a politician. The public speaking will be down to a T.
Yeah, I guess that works. Do we have... Well, I guess I can only think of one comic turned politician. So, yeah. But,
I if it's the one thing out of all the things I tried that really kind of felt most natural or that's easy, like I said, kind of, where it's just kind of... I don't know, I talk a lot, so it's silly to get paid 10 minutes to talk, you know, so I'm like, I'll try that.
Yeah. How did, is stage fright anything that you've ever dealt with, that you were kind of working through fear of being on a stage?
Not really. As a kid, I was desperate for attention, so, at first, it was kind of one of those things, I'd be nervous about. Like, I remember in San Marcos, they had some tiny, like, comedy competition at, what was that place called? It was in a dinner theater that was above a, like, wakeboarding shop where they sold boats. And I was so nervous that I think it was the first time doing, like, maybe 10 minutes or something like that, that I knew I wouldn't know all my jokes. So I got a styrofoam cup, and so I could have, like, water on stage. And I wrote all my jokes on the back of it. But I drank all my water before I went up. And I got nervous. So I went to drink, and you just heard empty ice clink around in it. And it was one of the worst. I was just like, I remember a friend came out to like check on me, and they're like, "Are you gonna be all right?" And I was like, "I mean, honestly, if that's as bad as it's ever gonna be, I don't think so." So
Yeah.
now it's completely gone. I get freaked out before running a show because it's like no one's gonna come,
Yeah.
and all my friends that I booked on this are gonna be upset, and then people will show up sometimes, and you're lucky for that. And then after that, you're like, I hope everyone that paid for a ticket is having a good time, and I didn't waste all these people's money. And it's just anxiety for an hour and a half, and just. But I don't know. Up there, it's very fun, and just kind of it's like, wow, all that time went by. Even making quote unquote bad shows, I guess, where it's like low turnout or anything like that. It's like, how can I have fun? Because if you're not, I mean, there's some. I don't understand. People don't do this to have fun and beat themselves up constantly over. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I'm going to turn a little bit into a psychotherapist here and ask how it felt after that FPIA, where my perception, you just became like the instant darling of the comedy scene. Because I hadn't seen your name before, and you, how far did you...
Oh, I didn't even advance.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I heard this story, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it was made up, but I heard that Margie went running after you to talk to you after your set.
At the end of the night, I got to talk to her, and she told me that she wanted to see me around the club more, and that was very nice. And then, I looked in, it was like 2 weeks later, I think, or so. I was looking, and you get like message requests that don't automatically like pop up on Facebook. And one was from her asking me, she had messaged me once, and then there was a follow-up because I didn't see it, about talking to her about potentially like getting to know me more. And so she gave me her number, and I called her. And we got in touch, and she was asking me, just kind of like trying to get to know me and all this, and was like talking about like, I'd love to get you to try to get some work here at the club and stuff. Have you ever hosted? And I never hosted before, and I was just like, why tell someone no? I'd rather just do a bad job than someone else come along that they want to talk to and just kind of hope it pans out. And so she gave me an opportunity to host for 2 shows at Moontower that year. And so that was like, I think I got joke of the night that night. And so I got added to Moontower and $100. So forget those idiots that got to go on and lose in the next round. I felt pretty good.
Yeah, I think joke of the night, man. That's the one.
That's nice. You definitely get the cash, like coming in second place constantly.
Yeah.
But it's pretty funny. They have to do that deliberation or whatever. I don't know words.
Yeah.
In the back, and the host has to kill time. And Matt Bearden was hosting. He was talking to people in the front, asking if they had kids, and my parents were in the front. And he goes, "Y'all definitely have kids." And my dad's like, "Yeah, Sawyer." And Matt goes, "That kid's definitely advancing." And so,
oh no.
Yeah. And then I don't. So I still bring it up to him. I'm like, yeah, I hope you feel good lying to my mother, just right to her face.
So in my years, I haven't heard a magical story like that where, and pre-COVID, Cap City was the club in town. We obviously had Velveeta room, but Cap was the club in town. They make or break comics. And to hear a story like that for the first time, it was... how long before you realized what a unique position it was that your first outing at FPIA to have, the manager owner of this club is chasing you as opposed to, I'll go to the mics on Sundays and, work my way up that way.
Yeah, it was definitely pretty lucky, but I knew the feeling after that night. I was just like, this is definitely what I want to do for the rest of my life. And a high to chase, because I was talking to my cousin who's a realtor out here when I moved here, and they were asking about comedy if I was going to do it. I was like, yeah, it's fun. It's it can be one of the worst feelings you have when it doesn't go well, but when it goes well, there's really nothing like it. You're just kind of buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. So it was really fun. I got a lot of friends that showed up for that because they give you the tickets to give away, so that helped. And it was really kind of the first time I think my parents got to see me do comedy, and a lot of friends, so it was I guess, worth the wait. And I definitely felt lucky because, like, moving out here and going to open mics for the first 2 months of being there and, like, trying to make friends and stuff, it's like, these are some of the funniest people in the world out here, regardless of, like, how much time they get and all that. And they've known each other for years. So I'd always say it's like being stuck in rush hour traffic and the lane next to you is open, but every car is going by at 150 miles an hour, and you have one opportunity to get in there, and you're either going to cause a pile up or fit in. Yeah. And so it's just like, you cause a wreck, they're not going to want to be friends for a little while longer. But yeah, it was very helpful after that. I felt like people would start asking if I wanted to do shows, and it's kind of how I started making friends out here. Yeah. So that was really neat because, I still see some people that are around, like, you're cordial with them, but, like, there's no real hang, you only see them at mics and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then, so you got some momentum for about a year. And then everything.
Yeah, real kick in the teeth. I was like, I can't wait. Yeah.
I mean, again, you probably have had a magical year, and then everything shuts down. Mm-hmm. So being so new as a comic and finding the thing that you love that is giving you, the adrenaline rush and the happiness that you've finally earned. Mm-hmm. What does that feel like?
To, like, not get to do it anymore? Yeah, it sucks. The year kind of, people's boundaries was what they were willing to go out and do during all that kind of deteriorated over time. But at that point, I'd started really making good friends in the scene and stuff like that. So eventually everything just became like the after bar hang of, like, going to the Velv or something like that. So it's like, sometimes, like, people do the open mic on a Thursday and then after go to Mugshots, rest in peace. Yeah. And that was way more fun than whatever happened at the mic or the show on Friday because you're just making your friends laugh. And so when you're hanging out with the funniest people and just trying to get them to laugh, it's like, hey, you're still kind of doing it and getting better in some aspect, trying to flex a muscle. Yeah. So it was fun, and then I think what y'all did with the virtual stuff was great, giving people an opportunity. But I need that direct. Right. My mom always said I had trouble with instant gratification. And so when you're just kind of like talking to your phone or a screen or something like that, and it's like there is laughter, but it's like, I want to. And then even when you do shows and people wear masks in the crowd and stuff, you're like, I need to see your teeth. Yeah, like, I can't see past the front row, but I want to see. It's like doing shows at breweries even where it's like, I see your mouths moving, but the ceilings are so tall, you don't hear it, and that'll trip you up. But yeah, it sucked. But I always just kind of knew that it was going to come back. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you're going to spend an hour today going to an open mic for 3 minutes, you can sit in front of your computer for an hour and just type something and try that. And so there's no sense in stopping. And I think that's what helped when there were people that, when we started to get to comedy again, would talk about how it's like, oh, I got to knock the rust off. It's like, what rust? This is like riding a bike. It's so much fun. Yeah. It's like, I don't remember all 10 minutes. I'm going to have to look at notes, but, like, it's easy. Yeah. You love it so much. It should be fun,
Yeah. I just imagine people must adore hanging out with you because this positivity is...
it gets annoying. It definitely gets annoying.
Does it? Yeah. I think your friends like you for that positivity. Oh. They're probably all really negative and depressed.
They can be. But so can I. You get paranoid when you're hanging out with some of the funniest people. You're like, am I doing as good as they are?
Yeah.
Good old comparison being the thief of joy. But it's because I used to be able to go home after an open mic, after a hang or something. I wouldn't see anyone until, I don't know, a day later, 2 days later. And at an open mic, it's always a different shake of the crew, not everyone's making it out. But now I live with, like, one of my favorite comics and one of my best friends. And so it's like every day, and we both work from home. So I got to, like, stare across the couch at him and just be like, does he think I'm funny? Is he just blowing smoke on my ass and humoring me? This guy is killing it.
That's so much pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Oh, man. Okay. So what was your first night back on stage like for you?
Oh, it was so fun. I got to do one of those don't tell shows. Uh-huh. And that's like shooting fish in a barrel. Those people are willing to pay that much for a ticket and come out on a regular basis. Yeah. Like, it was a lot of fun. I think it was like October I forget when, but like 16th or something like that. I wrote in the calendar. I was jonesing about it. And then after that, I forget. I was so desperate, like a little fiend, that they were doing shows at the Blind Tiger, their little midnight mic. And every Friday, regardless, I drive all the way to San Antonio just to do 5 minutes in the basement of like a children's themed restaurant. Yeah. And maybe there are people there, maybe they're not, but I'm like, who cares? I want to do this. Yeah. So it was worth it. Yeah. And it made it feel like you're working, kind of, where it's like, I gotta travel to another city and try to get this off.
Yeah. Had you picked up Kickbutt by the time, or was that after?
Yeah, I think I took over from Derek Copswa in like maybe the fall, I want to say, of 2019. I think I'd been doing it for a couple months by then. Okay. Yeah. All right. And then...
And Face Off happened before, didn't it?
Yeah, we got to do one.
Oh, man.
I think we did one maybe that February, like right before March and everything closed. And so I think it was March of last year when we got to start it back up again. And so that's been a whole process. We took, I think, a month off, a month or two, because it's just kind of like, man, how do you get 8 people every month to be willing to like trade jokes with each other? And then all of a sudden, it's like some people can book like 6. When you can put together a lineup of like 8 comics, I guess, and have them do time. But when you need to partner them up and all of a sudden, and then you just look and the pool gets smaller and smaller and you're trying not to rehash or anything. And then we always just pick 4 people and then have them do the rest of the work for us and be like, who are 3 people you'd want to swap with? And then we try to mix and match that way. But then the same names always come up and all this, and it's just like, yeah, we get it. These are the funny. But it's fun. We're trying to tinker with it. We're going to do a Valentine's Day theme for February, the couples of comedy. I think that'll be fun.
Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah. Oh, Derek and Lonnie, of course.
There you go. You're already on to it.
Yep.
Spoiler alert.
I think, I know 2 others, Taylor and Leah. That's about all my knowledge.
Yeah. And then we got some joke ones. So put some in. You got to play with the idea.
Yeah. I think it's such a fun concept of a show. Unfortunately, I can't stay up that late. So, one day
It's pretty fun when it goes well, but that's the whole attitude is like, you just see people do the same material so much. I'm guilty of it. I know the jokes I tell a lot and all this, and some people feel like, I guess, stale. I know I feel stale, and like, some of my favorite parts of my jokes are tags other people have given me. So I'm like, why not give people an opportunity to do different material? And sometimes they'll just do it straight up. But like our whole goal was to be like, no, take their jokes and make them your own. Like people just say the other person's name and the audience is so horribly confused. I'm just like, I don't know how to explain this to anyone, but people keep showing up and people keep saying yes. So I'm very grateful for it. But as long as they have, that's the other thing. I'm just freaking out in the back. Like, is everyone having a good time? That's all I care about. I don't need to have a good time as long as they're having a good time.
So you host very different shows. You've got what I will call the standard showcase, the ground floor show, the Face Off, and an open mic. Like asking a parent, who's your favorite child? Is there one that you like more than another?
Yeah, I'd say ground floor right now because it's newest. And that's, I think that's one of those things where you're saying someone comes onto the scene. I mean, I saw it just when all the people that moved here and you see the one new guy and it's like, I used to be there. You're just the drunk in the corner. It's like, that was me. Everybody used to want me. Yeah, we get it. But because it's I think I've only done 2 now, and it's fun kind of tinkering with the idea. And also, it's just a very established show already. Been Taylor Dowdy, you've been running it for so long, and it's kind of like Dad gave you the keys to the car. It's like, don't scratch it, and so there's pressure to that. I love Hotel Vegas too. It's a great venue. Yeah, and so if those can keep going, and it's, I just like playing comedy. I think it's the way to like if I want to sell something. I mean, those Velv shows, the late ones, have seemed to be kind of like self-sustained at this point. People are walking on the street. They just live comedy are going to come in, build it, and they will come. But with that one, it's like I want to put on the absolute best show in town that night. It's my whole goal. It's like,
Yeah.
put it together, give my friends a decent amount of time, more than 10 minutes, ideally, and so that people will want to keep coming back, and it could be a real staple. Because they always do music there, and I get it's a music venue, but I want that second Friday of the month to be comedy-driven, or comedy priority, and all that.
Yeah, I get that. My little show is also mostly music, but I'm happy to have my little night of comedy. And I remember talking to Taylor. Oh gosh, his interview must have been a couple of years ago, and I remember how fondly he talked about Ground Floor and how important so many elements were to him. So it really is like, Dad having given you the keys to the car.
Nice car.
Be careful.
Yeah, this has been going on for a long time. And he's like, the audience is going to show up. He's like, no one's going to be there 15 minutes before, 5 minutes before you're supposed to start. And you're going to freak out. But they just show up. It's like moss to a flame, I guess, or whatever. But it worked out. Yeah, it's worked out so far, the last two. And I hope to really keep the ball rolling. Yeah. The people at Hotel Vegas are great, working with their events coordinator and stuff. Mm-hmm. I do love Kickbutt. Sometimes it sucks when you're sitting there for the whole 2 hours. And, I mean, I get it. No one starts and is good. Yeah. And then some of the characters that come out, it's just like, that's pretty entertaining. And the free tab's nice, and I always go home with a slice of carrot cake. So it's like something to look forward to on a Wednesday. Yeah, it's easy. It's fun.
Is there a project that you have, simmering up in your brain? Because you've inherited 2 shows. You've got the one show that you created with Carlos. Is there another idea brewing in your brain that you think, okay, this is Sawyer. This is Sawyer's thing?
I guess a couple like harebrained, just baby ideas kind of sprouting. Just my big goal for the year was to write something outside of stand-up. Whether it's like a series of sketches, a terrible screenplay, something like that. But try to do something different. Because some of my friends I've talked to that have gotten further along to like knock on the door of representation or anything like that, is they don't care that you can tell jokes. They go, what else do you have? What's your podcast like? What do you have to us to like sell and all this? Yeah. And I was like, I just want to go around and tell jokes. I didn't know I had to do all this other work. But, I think it's important it'll make stand-up better if you're working at other things, Right. Just trying to be funny.
Well, and to your credit, and again, this is all based on your FPIA video. The writing that's demonstrated in that set, like, you could be a TV writer. I'm not saying that's necessarily an ambition, but that kind of short wordplay-ish, some of your jokes were, short wordplay-ish jokes. I'm like, yeah, you build that up in a web series or, sketches or whatever, then you can get down that path if that's what you want to do. There's
a lot of too much time on Twitter. You got 140 characters to make someone laugh. So it's like, okay, let's keep it short and just keep ripping off Mitch Hedberg. That's pretty much the plan.
Don't do that.
Oh, yeah. No, well, not blatantly.
Don't do it blatantly.
No.
Yeah. All right. I warned you that some random point we were going to do this.
Okay.
And you're my second guinea pig on this. So a friend of mine gifted me this game called Where Should We Begin? I should probably stop naming it, but I don't know. Because I'm we're not represented by this. But the idea is you randomly pick these cards and you tell a short story. I mean, we obviously don't have hours and hours to elaborate, but it's a prompt.
Okay.
Basically. So
let me show you what a terrible improviser I am.
We're going to do a red pill, blue pill, right or left card.
I'll take that one.
Okay. So he has selected the right-hand card. All right. Your prompt is, my guilty pleasure is...
terrible TV. Like, I'm a huge fan of Guys Grocery Games. It's so good. I was like, who cares about a supermarket sweep? And then I saw what the show was. I was like, wait, they cook? I was like, this is incredible. When I moved in with my roommate, he has that YouTube TV, which is incredible because you just get to watch basic cable. I don't like going through like Netflix or Hulu because you too many options. Yeah. I like turning on. It's like, what is TNT playing right now? What terrible TV movie is on? Just make me watch. It's 3 a.m, King of Queens. Let's go. But when I moved in, it was always like CNN, MSNBC were like the main things, and it's like you watch these the most. Now it's like Food Network, all this. It came in the other day. He's like, "You really like Guy's Grocery Games?" I'm like, "It's incredible, dude. It's exhilarating. This man's what a host."
And I assume by Guy you mean Guy Fieri.
Oh yeah, dude, I couldn't stand the man for a while, but then I saw he was like, I forget what it was. It wasn't paper towels. He was somewhere like signing some kind of food item, just tossing them out to a crowd. I was like, and then he did during that pandemic. I'd hear him talk and the amount of money he'd raise for like restaurants and stuff. I was like, this guy's not bad. Sure, his food's probably terrible in his restaurants. I don't really care about, but what a host!
Yeah. I mean, Triple D, come on.
Yeah, I'll watch a couple episodes of that. But I've heard the dirty secrets of that show, how they show up and film it, and he's like hardly even there, and I'm just, okay, I'm good on this. And it blows up. Some of these spots, you go to some of these places that are like featured on this, and the food is horrible.
Oh, see, I'll fight you on that. Locally, anyway, because he featured Pius.
That's the one that's right out there. Yeah, I've heard. I have heard that's good, but
that is amazing.
There was a Brazilian food truck I got from because I was watching all the Fast and the Furious movies, and the fifth one takes place in Brazil. So I was like, let's get Brazilian food, and I do not have the wallet for Fogo de Chao. And I saw that as like featured on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Drives. And I was like, oh, cool. And the food was so expensive. I got it and I was like, this is just rice and beans. Yeah. I was like, are you kidding me? I could have looked this up and done it at home.
Yeah, well, since your folks are out that way, definitely Pius.
Yeah, I've heard.
You will not be disappointed.
I've heard that from a couple people too. So my dad honestly today was telling me about. He's like, "I'll take you to the best pizza that Dripping Springs has to offer." So I wonder. We'll find out.
I'll you'll have to let me know
if he takes me anywhere else. But let's just we'll go a little further. We got it in us, Dad.
All right. Well, thank you for humoring me with that. Let's get back to learning more about you and things you have in store. You just got announced for the 2022 JFL Moon Tower. Mm-hmm. I think you were on Moontower this past.
I missed this fall.
This is the first one?
Yeah. I mean, I got to do that hosting for when I moved here. And then I got there's a lot of people that got asked, it seemed, in 2020. And then that one fell apart. And then they seem to have cut back the list in the fall, which is fair and all that. That's where I'm lucky. My roommate was on it, so I got that guest pass, so I got to still get to see all the shows. But and that was definitely a motivator in being like, I want the badge to say artist next time around. So let's gear it up. Let's work harder and annoy enough people. Kind of, hey, I know we haven't met, but I would love to do your event. It seems very fun. And I'm looking for, like, it's going to be a long time. So it's like 13 days or something like that. Yeah. So be interested to see how they fill that out and all that. And they said that was only the first announcement. I'm like, that's like what it normally looks like, the list of the amount of people. So I'm like, there's so many more days. I hope they add more. I want more. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to see. I mean, I enjoyed the last one a whole lot. I found out I have terrible eyesight. Just horrible. I refuse to get glasses because I'm lazy. And so, in seeing some shows, like me and my friends bought tickets to see David Tell at the Paramount. Because, they sell individual tickets for that. And they're like, really cheap. I'm just like, if you want to see comedy, you got to understand this. It's cheaper than a rock and roll thing, and it's better. Yeah, you got to go to these shows. But buy your passes, folks, at ParamountTheaters.com. Click on the Moon Tower, get your badges right now. It's going to be cheap. April.
They're actually cheap. So,
but I can't see what's going on the stage for the most part ever, and so I'm too busy focusing on that to like listen to the comedy, which is really all you're trying to do for the most part. And so I was at a show, one of the shows at the Creek in the Cave, and they filled it with people. And so we're sitting at the bar there, me and my friend Carlton, and they had a big curtain so you couldn't see through it. And I just sat there and stared at the curtain. And I was like, I don't even have to look at what's going on stage. I can just listen to it. It's like, this is so much more fun focusing on what's funny instead of being like, what's happening? I also have horrible ADD, I guess. And so if people are getting up and moving around and stuff in the theater, I can't help but look. We went and saw one of Andrew Schultz's tapings at the Paramount. I just couldn't stop looking at cameramen walking around the entire time. I was just like, hey, man, I'm trying to watch a show here. I know that this is for the people that are going to watch it on Netflix or whatever, but come on, dude. Stop moving.
So you need the 7 minutes in purgatory, but for an audience member. I don't know if you're familiar with that
No,
show.
what's that?
So the premise for that, and I forgot. No, I'm not even going to guess. I think I know who runs it, but I don't remember. The premise is you have a comic perform in an enclosed space.
Oh, wow.
No audience for 7 minutes. And they don't know how the audience is reacting, but it's being transmitted to the audience.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Right. But you need that for the audience member.
Yeah,
so
put me in a box. Give me some headphones. I'll sit outside and look like a crazy person. I don't care. What's he laughing about? The show inside. He loves it.
Okay, so it's just a matter of you being too lazy to get glasses. We've got to figure out because.
Well, I heard that your eyes get worse after you get glasses too, because they get used to like getting the crutch of the glasses. So I'd rather just squint and guess. No. You know, I know when the light's red and I know when it's green. We're all right.
Oh my God! How do you pass a driver's license test?
They haven't taught. Oh well. When I had to get my second license when I was 18, they make you do the eye exam part again. And she let me guess a couple of times. And I was like closing one eye, looking into the little machine, trying to squint. And they let me get it. And now when I renew my license online, they don't check. So.
Oh, that's true. Oh, God. Okay. All right. I never
if you see a blue Toyota Corolla.
Okay. Stay away.
Yeah. I got these ridiculous cataract, really cheap, like blue blocker sunglasses. I love them. I had a pair I got at a coffee shop I was working at. I just thought they were so silly because of how big they were and they like wrap around. But they're so dark. They block out everything. It's incredible. And so I like wearing those. So if I'm driving poorly, someone sees me, they're like, oh, he's just blind. You know, it's fine.
So now
My bad.
So Richard and I were right to be very concerned about you driving during that set.
Oh, no, I was paying attention. I had to get to Glenn's part of the show, you know, give him an audience.
Oh, my God, that was so well executed.
Plus, I was talking about the Fast and the Furious, so how am I going to not be getting Fast and Furious while talking about the greatest franchise of all time?
Right. Did you keep up with, I don't think it was all of the Impractical Jokers. It was just... no, it wasn't Sal. Damn it. Can't remember which one. Two of the Impractical Jokers had a podcast, and one of their things was reviewing all of the...
All of them?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'd have some opinions, I'm sure. I love that friend. That's another thing. That's why having basic cable is incredible. There's always one of the first 5 on TV at some point. Just put on. I don't like Hobbs and Shaw, though. That movie's about friendship, and those other movies are about family. Don't count it. I'm glad The Rock is gone. We have John Cena now, and he's even better.
Okay. I watched Hobbs and Shaw.
It was it was okay. I mean,
I guess friendship.
Yeah, it's about La Familia.
Okay. What have we not talked about? Do you have a podcast? Are you gonna do? No. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, if you're too lazy for glasses, you're
I'm too lazy.
not doing a podcast.
I encourage all my friends to have them. That's what's
guest.
very impressive about your podcast is the consistency. I love when people constantly put it out, and I see my friends do it, and I'm like, good, keep doing it.
Yeah.
And I think they got instant gratification too, because all of a sudden they stop doing it. I'm just like, no one's great right away. You got to work at it and stuff. I think. The one I know that's also really consistent is George Anthony and his friends have that willful ignorance.
Right.
And they always do it. And I'm like, good. I love seeing the clips. This is incredible. Keep doing this.
Yeah.
And it's going to help you. Right. I just don't know what I'd want to talk about.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Oh.
And there's too many podcasts with people just talking, I guess, you know. People are like, yeah, our Big Under's so funny. People love this.
You could talk about Fast and Furious.
Yeah. Yeah, I could get probably 100 episodes out of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my problem is I'm too lazy to quit. Because I've got, my routine down, so it would be just, I freak out if I stop.
You do a great job at it, too, so.
Oh, well, thank you. This is the moment where you can tell me how great this podcast is that nobody listens to. No, it's not true. We do have listeners. Thank you for listening.
Appreciate all 6 of y'all. Come out to Hotel Vegas, February 11th.
Yes.
8 p.m., $5 at the door, folks.
Oh, man. I think this episode is going to come out right after that show.
Well, travel in time, folks. If you know how to do it on that Monday or whatever.
Yeah, or at least you can budget for the March.
Or, hey, yes, second Friday of the month.
Yeah. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to...
No, I don't know. Pastimes. I like drinking in the street. It's one of my... I picked that up recently. We got... originally, we'd sit... I love a porch. Porches are great. Yeah, next to comedy, I'd say light beer is probably my favorite thing. And eventually, we just started... We sat in the yard, and there was a table. And then all of a sudden, we were just like, let's just put chairs in the street. And suddenly, people drive a lot safer in my friend's neighborhood when there's drunks sitting on the curb. And it's gotten out of control. Yesterday, we brought a rug and a table out. We had a fire going. We were playing backgammon. I look forward to every Friday because I'm like, I'm going to go pick up some malt liquor and I'm going to sit on the curb with my friends until we're like, let's go to the chili parlor.
Friday nights are comedy night.
Yeah, but not until 7 or 8. You get off at 4:30, bolt out the door. Get over there. Get to ticking.
It's very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody... I think it was Derek for a while. He was doing like backyard comedy shows.
Yeah.
So
Bradley Earsh just started one that seems to be going pretty well. Those are outdoor comedy, tricky thing. Once again, like breweries, I need that. I need to hear you laugh. I can't just see it. I already can't see. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are. I like that. Oh yeah, there's House Party. I think is what he called it, or something like that. You do a show at his house.
Yeah.
That's always fun. I love a show that lets you bring your own beer. Like Fallout, you just put it in a hoodie and they don't know.
Right.
Just charge them $5 for a Lone Star. Get out of town. Not even a tall boy. Fallout Comedy's listening to this. You need to fix your beer prices. I know it's a third party, but come on. I'm tired of sneaking booze in your place.
You have some very strong opinions. Sawyer.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what else. Do you want to actually?
Yeah, let's see what the other one was. Let me know what my future could have been. I played with tarot cards at a friend's house the other day. I am terrified. That is some dark magic. I don't like it. They're not happy. None of them are happy. I'm like, why would anyone do this?
Okay, and I did come up with some more questions after this one. Okay, so the other card, this was the left-hand card. A dream I've never shared. That could be profound.
I talk about everything. I really wish I could have raced in NASCAR. I love NASCAR a lot. It's so fun. And I do believe, judging how I drive, I was a stock car driver at one point in my life. Didn't finish a lot of races, but really gave it my all.
Yeah.
I'd say, being a good singer. I'm terrible. Yeah, that's a dream. Be able to sing on, like, I hate musicals and show tunes, but man, those folks, it's like they're talking so beautifully. Yeah. I want to do that. I want to woo someone with my words. Serenade, if you will.
It just takes practice. That's what I hear. It's practice.
True. With most things.
Yeah, that's indeed. Okay, so we talked about getting picked up for the 2022 festival, Moontower, JFL Moon Tower. I got to train myself to say that. Are there other festivals? Are you kind of a festival guy? Because that one is unique that you don't apply. People, you're hand selected. Are you a festival guy?
No,
otherwise?
Not outside of that. I got my first taste this fall of getting to do comedy in other states, and I was a really big fan of that. Yeah. I had a good friend, Abby Rosenquist, that took me to feature for her, and it was North Carolina and Indianapolis, and I got to do like a half hour for the first time, and I was like, this is way cooler than doing 10 minutes. I'm going to dust off the old jokes, talk to the audience some, and it's like, if it goes bad at one point, it's like, well, guess what? I got 15 more minutes. Hopefully you're going to laugh at. And that's why I try to bring the ground floors, shorten the amount of people I put on it so that they can do longer sets. Because, unless you're headlining like at the Velve or a Sure Thing, there's no room to do more than 10 minutes in this town. It seems like some places are packing in their show so tight. They're like, yeah, you're going to do 7. It's like, cool. I'm going to get up there and say hey to the audience and then get off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you got to put in like application fees, I think, for some of these festivals and stuff, just for them to maybe not look at your stuff. And there's no, I don't know, I'm poor as to be. I was lucky that my friend, whatever the clubs were paying me, would cover an airplane ticket. And I was like, yeah, who cares? We're playing with house money at that point. But I don't want to fly myself out to Missouri yet to go to some festival someone started up that's like maybe people are going to be there. I mean, there's plenty of good comedy here to do.
But so let me ask you this, because I've seen the formula. A group of friends decide, hey, we're going to do a tour. We'll self-book around a couple of cities, across the country. And they come back and they're like so energized by the experience. And it kind of pushes them to a higher level of performance. Is that something, you've got...
Yeah, I'd be definitely interested in that. I know I got a friend getting married in Scotland this year. And so I met a fella came through town, he showed up like 3 weeks ago and he hasn't left. Town seems to have that effect on people. But he's from Ireland. I was talking to him about it. And I was like, well, I'm going to be in Europe this summer. Like, do you have any advice on things over there? And he gave me some people's names. So I was like, doing comedy in other states is cool, but let's try another country where they have no semblance of what NASCAR is. Right. Just kind of, in that case, I'll be talking at the wall,
Yeah.
But, the whole idea of, like, booking a tour and, like, seeing friends that do that is so scary to me because I'm like, no one's going to come. Why would someone in New Mexico care about who I am? And so I'd rather just ride coattails for the time being. And then down the line when I'm much better, I'd say I'm more confident in myself, something I'd consider for sure.
Okay, so I'm going to turn psychotherapist on you because you're scared about people not showing up for your ground floor face-off.
I wasn't hugged a lot as a child.
And people are showing up. So you're an American going to Europe and performing. You are instantly of interest. So get over that fear of, no, nobody's going to show up. They're going to be interested. Oh, an American who has been on this globally known festival. Milk that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping is someone's got something going on. I'm like, hey, can I hop on your show, please? And in that case, even if I do that and no one's there, I don't care at that point. I'll try and make fun of that. But if I'm like, hey, I'm coming over here and I want to set this thing up, no way, not a chance. Hey, your bar, would you mind if I borrowed it for a night and try to run a show where I know no one there?
Yeah. That's tricky. But
that guy from Ireland packed out Spider House. So I was like, oh my goodness, good on you, fella. So, but I think it's way more interesting having Europeans come over here and tell us why their country's so much better than ours. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Your healthcare's free. I could get glasses, but no.
There you go.
It's the struggle that makes me great. It makes us great.
I don't know. That's my 2 cents. Just give it a shot. There's comedy everywhere. So one of the things that we're working on is adding a page. Well, I'm aware that there are festivals, all across the world, and I'm thinking, well, if there's festivals in Germany, then there's going to be a comedy scene in the cities there, and Spain has a festival, so there's going to be a scene there. So you could, with not, well, I know you say you're lazy, but I think with not too much legwork, you can
figure it out.
Yeah.
Got to get better at not being so local in a lot of references.
Yeah.
Like, y'all been to HEB?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And if you've ever had a conversation with Tyler Gross, who spent, that time.
Oh, believe me, I was going to lean on him whenever I had to go abroad and all that. Yeah.
Like the lessons he learned about doing comedy with a non-U.S. audience are like, I think that's part of what makes him great.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Is learning that skill.
I love you, Tyler.
Yeah, so you're going to have to drop that NASCAR content in your sets.
Rats. Or I'll just sell them on it. We can get NASCAR International. Forget F1. Let's take the left turns abroad.
That's true. Yeah, you can diss on F1. But I'm sure those European audiences will love that.
Absolutely. Y'all got rocket scientists. We just got a guy driving a car with Bush Light plastered on it. F1 lost its luster when y'all took Marlboro out.
Oh my God, that is rich. Well, I'm excited for you that you're going over there. That's going to be, assuming that traveling over there is feasible again, because they tend to be a little stricter.
Rolling the dice on that one.
Yeah, but I mean, so far it's just if you're vaccinated and the negative test before travel, they're okay.
Makes sense.
So, all right. Well, Sawyer, are you ready for your closing question?
I believe so. Can I phone a friend?
You could.
Hey.
You could. All right. One word to describe your future.
Well, I got a comma on the first one, so I'll put a nervous wreck.
It's because your vision's a nightmare.
Yeah. But then again, if it gets worse, I won't have to see the disaster that is a show I may run. Oh. But they're all great, folks. You should come out first Friday of the month at the Velveeta at 10 p.m. and second Friday of the month at 8 p.m. Hotel Vegas.
In that Kickbutt.
Yeah, if you ever want to start comedy.
Yeah, go there. Oh my gosh. That open mic has been going for, I think
it's like second or third longest at this point. I mean, who knows how long Cap had been around a long time, but I was like, we've gained some ground on some of these places being closed for a while.
That's right.
But yeah, it's very funny. Well, people will come up, like, it goes terrible 9 times out of 10 doing an open mic, and people will come up and be like, "Do you have advice? I thought you were really." And I'm just like, "Don't. Hey, stop lying." This is the first bit of advice I'll give you, and I'm just like, I can't believe you'd want advice. Yeah. And it's always just keep doing it. Like people that quit on podcasts, is what you see with comedy most of the time. Is someone like people will tell you, like friends, like, "I always thought about starting comedy." It's like, okay, do it, do it, and then find out you don't like it, and then you can quit if you want. It's not for everybody, but no one starts great, so you just got to kind of keep doing it. Yeah. And so
you started great.
No, you didn't get to see what it was like in San Marcos.
Just 6 months, and then you do what you did on that Cap City stage.
Yeah, and it's like, keep up. Keep up, bud. And then it's a mind freak because it's like, you go up so quick. And this is one thing Matt told me really early. He's like, yeah, you went up really quick, but that's going to flatten out real fast. And then that's a whole freak because it's like, you may be kind of getting better with it. And you do this so many times a week that it's impossible to see the forest through the trees. You're just like, I think I'm doing the same thing. I don't think it's getting any better because you're so close to it. And then even when it's a gradual increase of things going well, it's impossible to see. And it's just like, but I was doing so much better back then. Why am I not doing this? But it's just don't get in your own way and just kind of, like I tell those people, just keep doing it, you know?
Yeah. One little nugget of knowledge that you shared with me that I want to actually circle back to, even though we're in our wrapping up stages.
Yeah, we can just pencil it in the middle.
You talked about how during the shutdown, you still wrote every day. I think that's like probably one of the most valuable lessons to anybody starting.
Yeah, even if it's just like journaling or whatever. Yeah. I mean, because at the end of that, maybe you'll think of something funny along the way and you put it in quotes. You're like, oh, well, whenever we maybe get to do this again, let's see what this nugget of an idea is worth.
Yeah, it's a very, I don't know if you've ever heard the reference to the artist's way, but it is like it's a book, and I forgot who the author is because I don't remember details, but the artist's way is do something every single day consistently until you start being better. And when everything that a stand-up does is about the words that they speak on a stage, writing is so important. And there's some magical people that never write. Yeah. And those are, they're magical just unicorns. Go and do it. Yeah. But
there's some people that do it all the time that also never write. That's something I think when I moved here, I tried is like, because it blew my mind coming from a town where it's like we had one and then a second comedy open mic by the time I was done, but they were like general open mics you could do where it's like you're going up after someone that read terrible poetry or someone that's doing music and everyone's there for the music and you're like, I'm going to try to make y'all laugh. Yeah. Is that I was like, you can do 2 open mics in one night here? I'm like, what? That's crazy. And so I tried to go as much as I could, but then I realized over the last year, maybe it's a bit of malaise, is that that's not always beneficial, in that, especially hosting an open mic, I'll see it. It's just like, all right, buddy, for the last month, you've done the exact same 3 minutes. And it's like, you're not changing any words in here. You're not working on new material. It's like, what are you working towards? So it's like, I've tried to get to a point where it's like, I want to get up as much as I can in a week, but it's like, I got to have something I'm working on. So if I'm not, because also those people that are just constantly going to shows, going to open mics and stuff like that, it's like, you're not living much of a life outside of it. And so while you can play to the back of the room so well, you can't relate to an audience when all you do is comedy. Like, eat, breathe, sleep. I'm sure that's beneficial at some point, but like, you got to be relatable too and have experiences and things to draw on, because it's just like, who can relate to it? It was 3 a.m. and we were at the shawarma truck and we just bomb.
Yeah, I mean, that's sage advice for, from somebody that's been at this for 4. This is your fourth year?
No qualification at all. None. Don't listen to it.
No, but it's all true. Keep working on stuff. You can't just do the same set over and over.
No, well, some people. I mean, if that floats your boat too, good on you. Good on you. But I don't know. Don't you want to? You wrote one joke that's really good. Why wouldn't you want to write another one that's better, or like even make that last one better? So that's what I struggle with, and my roommate's very good at is he's like, if I don't have anything new, why don't I work on something old and change that? And I'm someone that's never written a second draft in my life throughout school or anything. I turn in a rough draft for something and then turn it in again with the final. But there was I did it once, all right? We're good. Give me something else to work on and you get something different.
So that forces you to write new stuff all the time.
That's how you
only one time.
That's how you get B material constantly. That's how I got B grades constantly.
How do you balance that? Don't always perform for the back of the room when you're doing specifically face off, because I would think part of the magic of that is if you've been around the comics, it's that back of the room that really appreciates what's been happening with the trade.
When they see that, yeah. But also, my whole point is I pick these people because your material's funny. And so funny works regardless. Like, I mean, people will tell their comic's favorite joke is like famous and stuff. Like, something that Stephen Wright said and you think is hilarious. You can tell your friends and they'll laugh. Why? Because it's funny. And so that's my whole attitude is like, funny's funny, so the audience is going to laugh at it, especially if it's a man wearing a dress, because it's been Jared Halls has been swapped with someone,
Yeah.
It works.
All right. Okay, I have one last question that I'm going to ask you.
Alrighty.
Will there ever be a Sawyer without a mullet?
Maybe. I had the rat tail for the pandemic, but 2021? 2020 was the year of the rat. So that worked. And then, I don't know, I see the Padawan braid every so often. I'm like, that's fun because there's no shortage of Mississippi mud flaps in this town now, or Dixie dust ruffles, whatever you want to call them. And that's why I cut it originally. Is I was like, I'm not only the only mullet anymore, I'm not even nearly the best mullet anymore. It's like, let's find something new, Get the old pull to start, little ceiling fan chain.
All right. Couldn't resist asking.
Yeah, no problem. It's cold out. My neck's cold. That's really what it is. It's the sweater.
That makes sense. All right. Well, anything else?
No, just face off first Friday of the month at the Velveeta room and ground floor at Hotel Vegas second Friday of the month. Hotel Vegas.
Well, that is a wrap on Comedy Wham presents Sawyer Stull. Okay, you're going to get a third try now, or third opportunity. Tell us where to follow you on social media and your projects and shows.
All right. Yeah, it's just Sawyer Stull on Twitter and Instagram, where I try to be funny. I do this thing on Fridays where I just try to waste all the characters in Twitter in like all caps. Talk about a day. And that's a consistency thing. I had 132 weeks right now. I just have a running note where I'm like, how can I put these together? Get people through their Friday and let them know I'm going to be drinking light beer later. Not working hard at all.
Is this part of the curbside rug?
Oh yeah, it gears up for you. This is how you start the day.
I love it. That's great. You could, well, I know you're not going to do it, but you could create a unique account just for.
Oh yeah, old CJ let me read one of them on the radio once for 101X, and that was pretty fun.
Nice. I love CJ.
A great guy.
CJ's been very good to us. All right. Well, let's see. We hope you've enjoyed learning about how Sawyer got to be the comedic genius that you heard today.
Jesus Christ, no. Let's try that one again. Definitely a different adjective in there.
We hope you've enjoyed learning about how Sawyer got to be the fearful of if
Failure.
anybody's going to be showing up at his shows. Comedic genius that you heard today just as much as I have. This has been Comedy Wham presents Sawyer Stull. I'm Valerie, and that's been funny. Thank you, Sawyer.
Thank you.